So we're getting a little messy here on job site. You got Stu over here and Yardley over here cutting away. So we're gonna leave it better than we found it and clean all this up. So here we are. In my last video I said that we'd leave it better than we found it, but since we were the ones that actually made the mess, that would fall under following the process through. So my bad on the first video.
Another improvement I did today was we have a problem with the chipper running out of water because the overflow just shot it onto the ground. So I just added a little bottle. Hopefully it'll collect it and do the purpose of holding it in, and then when it cools off we'll suck it back in and function properly as a rad so we don't have to keep filling it.
I was just coming in here to try and grab a Gatorade, but I can't really see what I'm doing because there's this plastic all over it. So let's see what we can do. Oh, there we go. Easy. I can easily grab whatever flavor of Gatorade I like now.
Sandy doing a good clean in front of the office.
Just a little video about following it through. We've been kind of doing that with the chipper here. Every time we finish chipping a rack, we've been cleaning up all the wood chips, and so bin dump was just picked up the bin, and this is all that's left to clean up.
Cleaned up and improved, so it's easy for them to back in and they know where it goes. Stuart doing an awesome job cleaning up in front of the office by our fence panel display, picking the weeds. Nicely done.
I just want to take a minute and highlight what Randy's done here with the packaging for these pickup orders. I think he's followed the process right through. You can see the stacks look great. They're even-ended. It's all neat. The posts and any timbers all have a check stop put on the ends. The wood has all been stamped and tallied, saran wrapped together so the orders are all grouped and labeled with the customers' names. This looks beautiful. It's got total clarity. There's no confusion for the customers or for the staff. And you know, did Randy just decide to start doing this, or did he see it done? Was it modeled for him? And it was modeled for him in some of the packaging that we've seen from others in the shop, like Jody. So that's a great example of why it's so important to communicate to each other the improvements that we make, the standards of work that we're working to, so that others are inspired and carry through on those actions and improvements.
Doug doing a good job organizing the back of his truck so it's easy for him to find what he needs when he needs it.
So I was cleaning up the sawdust here around the mill today and noticed that the hose on my dust collection has come apart, so I'm gonna fix that up. So I cut off the broken part, put it back on, and it's all fixed and ready to go again.
So I'm just going to make a little 2-second improvement here. I've noticed that this first aid kit is sitting here with the words facing the right way, but if you actually had to open the kit, you have to turn it around like so and then open it. So let's just keep it this way, and then that'll save us 2 seconds when somebody's actually hurt.
So we do have these labeled in the C-can, so I'm going to follow the process through and restock 2 boxes from the shop. And I don't think that's 100% clear, so I'm going to change that label. Is it 2 boxes, 1, 2, or is it 2 and 2? So I'm going to standardize that. Followed the process through and restocked the shelves and fixed up the labels so it's clear what quantities are needed.
Just another example of why we need to try to finish the process through more often. We had a few leftover pieces here for making fence post sleeves, and we had to make a few more today, so I went back to check and see what we had, and almost all of them from drying out independently have warped and twisted and are now defective, so we got to start over. If we'd made them into post sleeves the same day we cut them, I think they'd all be good still.
Our ladder situation has been improving throughout the year, but we still have one that's a bit hard to get to, and you still have to sort of remove this ladder. A spot for all the ladders, and then I took a picture of how all the ladders hang and laminated it.
I don't need it.
And while I was laminating it, I was waiting for this light thinking it was ready, and then I had some defects. So wherever you ask the question, the answer should be. Brian had his battery charger and radio right by the saw, and they didn't have a proper home. So they were getting a lot of sawdust in them, and he had to stop and clean them all the time. So he followed that through and made a proper elevated shelf for them. So now they stay clean, so he doesn't have to waste so much motion.
Okay.
So here we are on job site. We're just installing some posts and some beams for this deck, but just wanted to give us a good example of one-piece flow. So we've got Stu here, and he's cutting the posts for us. So as he cuts them, he brings them over here and places them into the brackets where myself or Yardley will install them, and so on and so forth. So that's an example of one-piece flow.
Great example of one-piece flow, because if you did it in a batch, you need a spot to set down all of those pieces, right? So in the cramped backyard, there's not much room to set those down, so you'd be moving slower. Plus, you'd have to have all the wasted motion by setting them down and then picking them back up again. So really nicely done. And great job, everyone, on all the videos this week and all the improvements. Even if you didn't post them, there was probably double the improvements I saw than what we just watched. Super impressive. Please share the before and afters if you can. Awesome work. Keep it up. Really nice.